Today I'm here to talk to you about the effects of attitude on how effective affirmative action policies are. So in this presentation, we're going to be first telling you about what exactly affirmative action is, so that you guys actually know exactly what we're going to be talking about here, so we can go on and tell you how affirmative action is implicated in the workforce and in education systems. You're going to learn that in the workforce, it's mostly with employment, and in the education systems, it's mostly with admissions into collegiate areas. Finally, we're going to talk to you about how attitude in higher level positions in these areas affects the how effective affirmative action policies are in these areas. For example, the attitudes towards people in managerial positions, or the attitudes of people in managerial positions towards affirmative action policies. So what is affirmative action exactly? Affirmative action is an action or policy favoring those who tend to suffer from discrimination, especially in relation to employment or education. In other words, it's policies put in place to give every ethnic group or every social group an equal opportunity at employment or getting into that collegiate or getting into that college that they want to get into, so that there's no discrimination and that everybody has an equal opportunity to get the same education as the majorities and the same kind of jobs as the majorities as well. So affirmative action in the workplace is extremely prominent given that America has a very large workforce, and affirmative action is put in place to try and minimize the inequality that America has had for so long. And though we're still doing better, it's still very present in America's society. Now, affirmative action in the workplace is mainly meant to equalize the opportunities that different social or ethnic people, or different people of different ethnic groups and social groups get as far as employment. In other words, a black man will not get different requirements than a white man in employment. So they're going to have the same opportunities, and it's going to be judged based solely on criteria and skill, which is the basic idea. However, the policies put in place are not exactly as effective as they would like them to be. In fact, the only ones that are really effective, the only time they're really effective, really depends on the attitude of those in the managerial position. For example, in a study done by James W. Button and Barbara A. Rosano, they found that people in a managerial position who have a good attitude towards affirmative action have affirmative action policies effective in their workplace. People who don't, however, do have affirmative action policies. Affirmative action policies are rather irrelevant in the workplace of that nature. For example, in a McDonald's, if someone in a managerial position were to be extremely positive and supportive of affirmative action, the policies that are currently put in place would be extremely effective in making equal opportunities for everyone to be employed, etc. However, if someone if he was not supportive with affirmative action policies would be quite useless in that they would not listen to them, nor would he implement his employees upon his employees the same passion for affirmative action, because he doesn't have that passion for affirmative action. Now, this is a hypothesized path model explaining black employment. While this model does only explain black employment, it can be applied to all other minorities, as it has a general model of all different kinds of attributes right here. And as you can see here, attitude is one of the few traits or qualities that are directly implemented with the percentage of black employment. In other words, the attitude of managerial people towards, or people in higher positions, towards affirmative action or towards hiring other people of ethnic groups is directly correlated with the amount of people of that ethnic group that are employed. Now, education is kind of a whole other aspect. While it's similar to employment, it's a little different in the sense that it's trying to give everyone an equal opportunity in admission into a specific college, or into a certain college or school, etc. Attitude plays a large role in this, in that collegiate admission workers who don't see positively into affirmative action are not going to follow suit with those affirmative action policies. In other words, not giving those equal opportunities to the students who are trying to get into their college, otherwise rendering affirmative action policies useless. However, collegiate admission workers who do support affirmative action are going to give people more opportunities or more equal opportunity to get in, no matter the ethnic group, no matter the ethnicity, no matter the social group they come from. Everyone gets an equal opportunity to get into the college. It's all based on school criteria. Now, most people think that affirmative action is a lost cause because that society can't stray away from the fact that ethnic or separate ethnic groups or second social groups are just different, and they can't stray away from that fact. But this is misproven in that the heads of society are the ones who decide whether affirmative action can be put into place effectively or not necessarily society itself. For example, companies that help sponsor or are involved in collegiate admissions play a big role in converting those collegiate administrators or those collegiate admission workers to a positive attitude for affirmative action. Should a company that is extremely involved in that be positive towards affirmative action and push towards it, so will the collegiate admission workers. And similarly, will a manager of, say, a McDonald's imply upon his employees the positive a positive attitude towards affirmative action. In other words, not only hiring more people in a more diverse workforce, but also making people more comfortable in that workforce, given that their employees are also more accepting of affirmative action. So the big idea, what can we do, and what is exactly the main thing about this presentation? The really thing is that attitude directly affects affirmative action. We see that the attitude of employers directly affects affirmative action and how it different ethnic groups are employed, and that employers and admissions workers in colleges directly affects how different collegiate workers or how different students of different ethnic groups are implemented into college. And if we increase the positive attitudes towards affirmative action, we'll create a more diverse school and work environment. Thank you.